These lines show basically the three different bones that make up the os coxa. Above this line is the ilium. So this whole area just up here is the ilium. Down here in this little section is considered the ischium, and in this section is considered the pubis. Now when we're trying to figure out if it's a left or a right, basically you need to look and find the ischial tuberosity, which is the posterior side here, and that needs to be back. And then this is your, basically this would be where your pubic crest is and your pubic tubercle, and that needs to go to the inside, and the acetabulum needs to go laterally. So your hip bone would basically be like this. So that would be left os coxa, or left pelvic bone. Now to go through the terms here, just to start off, we have the anterior superior iliac spine, which is just right here, and then going over the top, we go over the iliac crest, which just goes over the top here. Then we have the anterior gluteal line, which is just one portion of this here, which just runs right along this area as the anterior gluteal line. The posterior gluteal line runs just right along this area. Then we come back towards the posterior side, and this little area over here is called the posterior superior iliac spine. Then we have the posterior inferior iliac spine. And moving down a little bit further, this is the greater sciatic notch. We have the body of the ilium, which is just considered this area right here. Because right here we have the inferior iliac, or inferior gluteal line, excuse me. And just below the inferior gluteal line and above the acetabulum is considered the body of the ilium. Now we have the ischial spine, which is just this little portion that sticks out here. Then we have the lesser sciatic notch, and then we run to the body of the ischium, which is just basically this whole section here. And as you flip it over, it's just this area. So that's the body of the ischium. And we have the ischial tuberosity, which is just this whole backside, this big bony area. Then we have the obturator foramen, which is this gigantic foramen, this gigantic hole right here. And then we have the ramus of the ischium, which is just basically this lower section here, and both sides. And this is your ramus of your ischium. You have the inferior ramus of the pubis, which is considered this section, and then the superior ramus of the pubis is considered this area over here. And then you have the body of the pubis, which is this whole area. You have the pubic tubercle, which is just this tubercle that's just on top right here. Then you have the obturator groove. So in the obturator foramen, there's a little groove that comes right through here, as you can see it kind of coming out. And then as you flip this over to the other side, you can see where the obturator groove comes through. And then you have the obturator crest, which is this little crest and this little line right here, obturator crest. Then you have the acetabulum, which is this whole circular thing where your femur is going to insert. And then this is the rim of the acetabulum, which is just outside of it. You have the acetabular notch, which is on the bottom side of it. Then as you look back onto this side again, as you're coming up, back up the os coxa, you have your iliopectineal eminence, which is just this little bump right here. Then you have your inferior gluteal line, which we've already covered. Once again, that's just this area right here. And then you have your anterior inferior iliac spine, which is just this little spine right there. The medial surface of the pelvis. We have the iliac fossa, which is basically this whole area right here. The arcuate line is just below that and runs, there's this little crest or line that goes right here. And as you go below that, you're going to run into the pectineal line, which is this line right here. And then, once again, you have the pubic tubercle, which is right here, and the pubic crest would connect the two os coxa together and would just basically run along the top of the pubic bone here. Then you have the auricular surface, which is just up in this area. And then the last few things are just the site of attachments. So the site of attachment for the inguinal ligament is the ASIS and the pubic tubercle. So it's basically both of these two spots right here. The site of attachment for the sartorius is just the ASIS, so just up in this area. The site of attachment for the rectus femoris is the AIIS, so just that spot. And then the site of attachment for the psoas major is the iliopectineal eminence, which is just this little bump right in this area. So that's the iliopectineal eminence, where it attaches.